What is up? What is up? What is up? It's Sunday again from my office this time. I'll explain in a bit. But I'm going to start in a couple minutes, 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock every Sunday. We do the Sunday Swings live show. And I've got a couple topics. Nothing too deep. And I'll explain more at 9 o'clock, or it's 9 o'clock now. I'll give it a couple minutes. Got a couple topics and take some questions, and we'll dive into it and see where we go. This is, if you haven't watched this before, this is kind of where I come on and talk about the week that was on social media, training players, take questions from you. If you follow me, if you follow my narrative online, this is your opportunity to jump in on the conversation and ask me questions. This is the best way that I know how to reach you. Obviously, all of you can't train in my buildings and in my programs, and so those of you who are in the online programs, awesome. I'm glad your training is going well. Again, if you're in the online programs, you can reach out to me whenever, and we can touch base one-on-one. But this is a weekly show I do just to reach out to the community, talk to the community, and take questions from players or coaches or whoever wants to join the conversation. Questions at the end. One of the questions on Instagram is what is my favorite tea drill? Take questions at the end. Give it a couple more minutes, and then we'll dive in and tackle some couple topics. That's all. I don't have much, and I don't have much because I spent the weekend doing a back speed and exit velocity clinic, a follow-up clinic in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I got back an hour ago. I've been in the car all day with a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they have worn me out mentally. So that's why I don't have a whole lot of deep topics, is because if you've got kids, or if you've got a little brother or a little sister, then being in the car with a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old, then you know. Trey on Instagram, that's a kid I train. He's being goofy. He doesn't like backside ground balls any more than I do. He knows better. But here's where I'll start. Okay, if you read my blog this week, I wrote a blog about Tim Tebow this week. And Tim Tebow hit another home run today. Again, here's what I want to talk about. Wherever you stand on Tebow, whether you think he deserves a shot, whether you think he's going to make it, he deserves to make it, whatever. That's not what I want to talk about. I don't care about that. Wherever you stand on all of Tebow's philanthropy, giving, religious stuff, that I don't want to talk about that either. Here's what I need you to know. Obviously, Tebow's intangibles are off the charts good. I understand that. Okay, but here's what you need to know. Tim Tebow took 12 years off from baseball and didn't play, and has come into the minor leagues and done, for a guy, reasonably well, I think, by all standards. What does that mean for you? It means this. Tim Tebow is, and if you read the article, it's just simply this. Tim Tebow is 6 feet 3 inches tall, 255 pounds, and I bet he could lift my house if he had to. He is strong. He can. I bet his bench squat. I'm certain he holds the bench squat, deadlift, all of the weightlifting records for quarterbacks at Florida. He's still powerful. He's a powerful guy. Many years of traditional baseball people say that you can't lift like that. Like, you can't turn into that. You can't look like a linebacker. And I'm here to tell you that you can lift like that, and you should lift like that. Now, are we going to all be bodybuilders? No. Or are we going to produce bodybuilders? No. But to be a powerful, strong athlete allows you to produce, obviously, more acceleration, more output into your swing, into your throwing mechanics. You are not that fragile. You're not going to break if you lift weights that hard. Tebow's a perfect example of a guy. I don't know what his weightlifting regimen is right now during the season, but I bet he's lifting a lot, and you should too. You should have a plan. You should have a course of action, and you should get as strong as you can possibly get, not fearing that you're going to get hurt. Is Tebow, is his swing as graceful as King Griffey Jr.? No. Is it as functional, efficiently as Josh Donaldson or Aaron Judge? No. But the guy is strong, and his swing he is trying to do one thing with his swing, and it has damage over top of the defense. He's not, he hits a lot of balls. He hits a lot of balls backside. I just think that's because he's generally late a lot, because he hasn't seen good fastballs in 12 years, and that's fine. As long as you're late and over the defense, it works. He hits a lot of backside home runs. Again, when you're 6'3", 255, and you can bench, squat, and deadlift the house, you've got pole to pole, foul pole to foul pole power. If you can just get the ball in the air, and that's all Tebow's trying to do. If you've seen any of the stuff that I posted online, Tebow trained with Daniel Murphy last winter to get his swing up in the air. My lights are flickering. Hopefully the power doesn't go out. To get his swing up in the air, and that's what he's doing. He's hitting the intent to hit the ball up in the air. It's not fancy. It's not sexy. It's not anything spectacular. But the guy can get a baseball bat moving at a fastball and get the ball up in the air. It's not overly complicated, and you don't have to. It shouldn't be overly complicated for you either. Get really, really, really strong, and let intent govern your swing. It's not rocket science. Your swing will largely develop from intent. I worked with several young kids at Myrtle Beach this weekend, starting from ages of 9 years old, and certainly the development talk with young players is different. But the thing that 9-year-old players can learn is that, look, you don't have to be, it's not overly complicated. What you need to know when you're a young player at 8, 9 years old is swing hard and try to hit the ball far. It worked for Mickey Mantle. It worked for Babe Ruth. They didn't have these advanced gurus trying to teach them mechanics. I hate the term mechanics, because by hitting in dynamic movement is not a set of 5 mechanics or a 5-step process. It's movement. It's coordinated movement that you have to hit a round ball with a round bat. It's tough. In order to get your swing developed and off to the right start, the intent to hit the ball hard in the air is really the foundation. There's certainly just some basic alignment and posture things, intent to hit the ball in the air, and trying to understand how balance can work for you as a young player. That's it. That's all as a 9-year-old you need to be worried about. You don't need to pay $60 an hour for that. You don't need an advanced 5-step guru for that. Just try to understand athletic positions. Try to understand hinging and posture. Try to understand and swing hard and hit the ball far, and then try to understand balance. If you're 9 years old or 8 years old or 7 years old or however old your kids are, it's not an overly complicated process. And that was what I was trying to communicate with the Tebow article. Is this guy took 12 years off, and he's hitting over. He's slugging like 900 over the last month. He's hitting over 300. He's now hit 7 home runs under the. He's now hit 7 home runs over the year. I don't know off the top of my head Michael Jordan's minor league statistics, but my guess is Tebow is outperforming Jordan when Jordan went back and played baseball. I can't foresee why he's not. Tebow's playing really, really well right now. And would it shock me? Would it shock me if he ends up in the major leagues in September? No, it wouldn't. Now, is he ready for that? Probably not, but he's playing okay. And as long as he doesn't get out there and embarrass himself, I think he'll be fine. If they want to put him up there and increase tickets, whatever, sell gear. I think the manager or the GM and owner of the Mets finally openly admitted that kind of signing Tebow was a PR move, but that's fine. The guy's playing well, and you can learn from him. Get strong. Get really, really strong. And then get your swing to function correctly. If you can close space with the barrel at a high rate of speed, you can hit a baseball. You You just got to figure out the timing at that point. And Tebow's getting better at that, I think. The second thing I wanted to talk about, I've posted on Twitter this week that I had some baseball pants to give away. Looking for a charitable place to give them away. I found a place, Lost Boys Inc. in Chicago. I'm gonna start mailing them out tomorrow. But I got tons and tons of requests for pants and balls, and I really do want to help. But I'm not in a position to like send pants and baseballs to everybody. So this is what I put out. If for every online coaching and player development program that I sell, I will give a dozen baseballs to one of the organization, or pants, or whatever they need. I will donate that to them. I don't know if that's a good idea. If that sounds like a good idea to you, leave a comment. If you've got a better idea, reach out so that I can give back to that community, because I really do want to help. It needs to be an underprivileged and charitable donation, not a travel team or anything like that. If you've got a better idea, reach out to me. I have open DMs on Twitter, and I have open DMs on Instagram. You can send me a message on those things. I want to help out. I got a lot of requests. I'd already promised the pants to the guy at Lost Boys Inc. in Chicago. I didn't have any more, but I can have access to those things. I just have to produce the revenue to be able to give back to it. I can't fulfill all those needs today, but I want to. So for every online coaching program I sell, I'll donate a dozen balls or 5 pairs of pants or whatever people need to one of the groups that reached out to me, because I want to give them something. If you've got a better idea, reach out to me. Last thing I want to talk about. I got back from Myrtle Beach about an hour ago. Was there all weekend. It's the second time I've been down there. It was really a follow-up to the first time I went down there. Took the HIT tracks. First time I went down there for 4 days. Great group of guys. We outlined all of the bat speed programs, the weighted bat program, the weight training, the weighted ball throwing programs. And then I went back this week and on a follow-up, and really all the kids that came through the first time that had been doing the training over the last month had improved exit velocities. And that's really what my online programs, and that's really what all my programs are. Either you're online or in-house. They are weighted bat hitting programs. They are weightlifting programs, mobility, stability, to help you hit balls harder and farther, because players that hit balls harder, the stats show if you hit the ball harder, your batting average goes up. If you hit the ball higher, your slugging percentage goes up. Because the point of baseball and the point of this game is not to raise your batting average, but it's to score more runs than the other team. And slugging the ball is a proven way to do that. For people that want to argue ground balls and all this other stuff, slugging percentage produces more runs. Fly balls produce higher slugging percentages. We're going to get the ball off the ground. We're going to get the ball off the ground, and we're going to train to hit the ball harder, because those two data points give players the ability to play longer. Certainly, all of the training that we do, intent-based, under the basic parameters. I've got 4 basic parameters that I talk about all the time. If you're in the online coaching and player development program, you know what those are. Those are in the video program. But within those parameters of movement, intent, the body will self-organize, and intent will govern the swing. And then we train. We don't try to overthink the process. I think there's a lot of places that are overthinking the process. Most of you are not at a place where you need to overthink the process. Just get really strong, try to hit balls really far. And if you can measure and track your progress using, exit velocity as a hitter, I mean, that's really the best way to quantify training programs. You can blindly hit balls off the tee, but who knows if you're getting better. If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. And the data shows that balls that are hit harder produce higher batting averages, and balls that are hit higher produce higher slugging percentages. So we're trying to get the ball up off the ground, and we are trying to hit the ball harder. I understand I understand balls on the ground happen. If they happen, I would love them to be harder. You know, if you hit the ball 80 miles an hour on the ground, it's not that good. If you hit the ball 95 miles an hour, you got a shot. So we try to hit the ball harder on the ground. If we're going to hit the ball on the ground, it might as well be harder. So that's what we're going to try to do: hit the ball harder. Hopefully, it's not on the ground. Hopefully, it's in the air. But that's all. That's really all the talking points that I have. Tebow, the charitable donation. Giving away balls, supplies to charities for every online program, coaching program that I sell. I need to organize an online a weekly talk for people in the online program. That's something I may create a private, secret Facebook group and do on Wednesday. I don't know if you saw my 2-Minute Tuesday talk on Tuesday. If you have a topic that you want me to talk about on Tuesday, just a quick 2-minute talk, just to answer maybe one question, give you some insight, some training insight, some hitting insight, then shoot it to me. Again, I have open DMs. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. My number's probably on the internet somewhere. You can get a hold of me. If you've got questions, or you want me to answer questions, somebody asked me about a tee drill in the beginning. I don't love the tee. I don't love the tee to take real full swings off of. The only thing that we do with the tee is we do overweight constraint drills. We go through our heavy bat constraint drill series into our weighted bat front toss program. That's really all we do off the tee. I don't love the tee. I wouldn't spend too much time on the tee. If you can get the ball moving, great. Get the ball moving. But to do the constraint drills, it is a great tool to get into some basic positions and develop your intent to hit the ball up with a heavier bat, creating different organization, creating different adaptation, and that's what we do off the tee. We don't guys that I train, we don't spend a ton of time hitting balls off the tee. We have hit tracks, we have video software, we have weighted ball. I mean, there's no need for us to hit balls off the tee. We've got better ways to improve exit velocity than just keep pounding balls off the tee. Somebody commented on my hair. It's more of an easy thing than a style thing. I don't like to go. I don't have time, and I don't like to go get my hair cut. So I just figure out the easiest ways to manage it and keep it out of my face. And I go about my day trying to execute it at a high level and give value to players, and that's as I train players all day. Are there any other questions? Not about if you want to talk about my hair, that's fine. If you want to talk about whatever you want to talk about, this is your show. I just want to try to be a resource and be open to you. Are there any questions? Periscope, you're quiet again. We may just end up doing this show on Instagram. Actually, there's been quite a few people watching on Periscope. Anybody got a question? Question about Tim Tebow? Question about online program? Question about clinics? I don't know that I really expanded upon the clinic. I do travel. I will come to your facility, your team, whatever the need be. Bring the hit tracks, lay out the online, or lay out the bat speed program, weighted bat programs, clinics. Just shoot me a DM if you want me to come to a clinic. Do ladies like the photo? I don't know. I'm married. I don't pay much attention if they like it or not. I don't really care I don't really care if anybody likes it. Honestly, it just is the easiest way for me to go about my day. I'm not trying to impress anybody with the way I look. But yeah, so I went to Myrtle Beach. I've been to Orlando this summer. Looking to travel some more. Do you have any difference in how you teach fast pitch hitters and baseball hitters on? No, I don't. Fast pitch softball players are done more injustices than even baseball players. We try to create the same intent-driven swing with softball players, and we've had excellent results from it. All the girls that we've had within the bat speed program, weighted bat program, end up hitting balls really, really far with those bats. It's crazy, and the margin of error in contact is so much bigger on a softball that if you go into it between 10 and 20 degrees and miss it a little bit, you still get enough exit velocity on it at 30 degrees to get it over the fence. I mean, it's home run territory is 65, 66 miles an hour with a softball. At 30 degrees, it goes over the fence, and your margin for error is really, really big for miss hits below the center line of the ball if you go into it at the right angle. Softball's like taking candy from a baby, really. I can't believe more people don't promote elevating balls in softball. Talk a little bit about your thoughts of the lower body, specifically the rear hip. So the rear hip is the motor, is the engine. You have to learn how to load it up properly, create potential stretch and potential energy in the rear hip. It's really the most important part of the swing is if you could get loaded in and around your back leg and store that potential energy as you move, your center of mass moves forward. That's really how the kinetic change starts, and then the forward movement of center mass into the ground kind of sets off the sequence up the chain that delivers the barrel, if that makes sense. There's several different ways to do it. Judge is really, really good to watch how he loads around his back hip in a hinge, in a posture, and then loads and creates stretch or in and around that back leg. He deepens, he puts his back leg kind of in external rotation and then moves out and instantly snaps. He can instantly snap his lower half and hip. Somebody asked something else. I wish I could go back up in the Instagram comments. My favorite MLB team, I don't have one. I like players. I like them all. I just like watching players. I would watch all the teams. I wish that was somebody had a good question. Let's see if I can go back up. Oh yeah. Do I make it down to Charlotte? Yeah, like one of my best friends is getting ready to move to Charlotte, and I hope to come down there a lot to see him. And if there's a facility in Charlotte that wants a long-haired dude that likes to hit balls over the fence and has a hit tracks and they want to check it out, I'd love to work with you. Top of the Cage life. Yeah, I like that. I got a Top of the Cage Rebellion shirt. You got to grab that. You'd think, you're the last. You kind of been. I got two. I got a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and I feel like some days that if you've seen the movie Moana, which I have, because I have a 5-year-old girl and a 3-year-old boy, Maui stuck out on the island. That's kind of how I feel some days when I'm talking about hitting the ball off the top of the cage. You feel like the last castaway off the island. Hit more off the front leg or the back leg? Both, I guess, sort of. You load into the back leg, you move forward, the horizontal ground force and it transfers into the front leg and transfers up into the hip. Like you hit off the front leg and the back leg, I guess, to give you a kind of generic answer. It's a little more complicated than that. Are there any other questions? These are pretty good. Keep going. Know where my kids are. I'm at my house. I couldn't get to the cage because I've been in the car all day and I couldn't find my iPad to get to the cage to do the talk. So I hope you don't mind looking at my bookshelf and looking at my old professional jersey in the background, which I posted on Twitter, and we talked about that one day. It doesn't really pertain much to the story now, so I don't talk about it a whole lot. Any other questions? Do the hips fire? Does the back leg turn the hips? Do the hips fire? Yes, sort of. If you load your back hip and you store that potential energy in your back hip as you move your center of mass forward, your back hip really kind of, if you get your front hip out of the way, your back hip kind of fires on its own. Through the energy that you put into the ground that comes back up out of the ground and starts your sequence up your kinetic chain. Is there some acceleration of the back hip? Yeah, I think so. I think there is some acceleration of the back hip, but most of the acceleration of the back hip comes from the force out of the ground. Anytime in PA, I'd love to come to PA. I don't voluntarily go anywhere. People have to contact me, and then we set up a clinic. I'll be glad to come to Pennsylvania. Do I follow? I think Teacher Man's going to become a weekly topic on this. I actively follow Teacher Man. I see him in conversations sometimes. I've read his website. Teacher Man has got some really, really good stuff. He's not very good at the internet just yet. He thinks he's got to fight and argue with everybody. If he clean up his internet game, I think if you read his website, Hitting Illustrated, it's good. It's good. There's some good stuff on there. He could leave out all the arguing, though. Really, he could just talk about what he likes and leave out the rest, and there would be a lot of people that would be interested. I think he rubs exceptionally a lot of the wrong people in the hitting community the wrong way, just because of his internet, I guess, demeanor. It's not good, but he does have good stuff. He does have good stuff. He's not a bit rude to people. He's really rude to people online. He doesn't have to be like that. I've heard he's really, really nice. I've talked to a few people that have worked with him, because I like to pick their brains, people that have worked with him. People say he's really, really nice. He's just really, really proud of what he knows. And he's just found the internet like the last year and a half, and he's kind of an older guy that feels like he's got to argue with everybody online, and he doesn't. I hope that he figures it out, because the guy does really have a lot of good stuff. I read everybody's stuff because I'm trying to take in as much information that will help players as possible. I try to educate myself as much as possible. I'm not there. I'm not on the internet to argue with people. People that want to promote ground balls and bunting try to argue with me, but like, all the data, all the statistics, all the analytics support not hitting ground balls and not bunting, and that's where I go, because that's not my opinion. That's if the data showed that bunting and ground balls were better, that's where I would go, because my passion is helping people helping players not being right. Like, I'm not trying to prove that I'm right. We just try to train what the data and statistics show, but the better players do, which is hit balls harder and consistently hit balls higher. I think my kids have wandered in the house. I heard them screaming, so they could be wandering in here anytime. Are there any other questions? Teacher Man comes up a lot on here. Teacher Man comes up in a lot of conversations, though. I don't know him. I just know the guy on Twitter rubs people the wrong way, and the guy on Hitting Illustrated is got some really good points. Read that. Any other questions? Any other concerns, or any other training questions, or any other bat speed questions, any other clinic questions, T-bow questions, lift weights, deadlift, squat, bench press? Don't be afraid you're going to get hurt, because you're not. The only way you're going to raising your exit velocity and exit velocity development is more. It's more than just weights. It's more than just weighted bats. It's more than just stability work. It's more than just mobility work. Like whenever we do, maybe this is a good talking point, because I thought about this on the way home. As in your development as a hitter, 60 to 70% of how you will develop will be without a bat in your hand, without the actual 33-inch, 30-ounce bat in your hand. You gotta mix up your bats. You gotta mix up your training. You gotta do mobility work. I'm sure that everybody watching this does not do T-spine mobility every day. I promise you. Your T-spine mobility work as a warm-up for your hitting is vitally important in how well you rotate through the center of your swing. What's your favorite overall lift for baseball players? Deadlifting. Deadlifting is the best. If you can deadlift twice your body weight, you're on your way to being able to exit balls pretty high. What's a good drill? There's not one drill. There's not one drill that's going to generate more power. Swing heavy bats. Swing heavy bats. Again, in my online coaching player development program, we do really heavy bat constraint drills. We do in-load, knob-load, underload drills. We do deadlifts. We do mobility series. We do stability series. We progress through 12-week weightlifting programs, and all of the exit velocities, all the in-house data that we record on all players of all ages. Their exit velocity increases incrementally over time. The program works. It's available to you online. I'm available as a consultant to the program online. You get in the program. Although you may not be able to track your own exit velocity, I am tracking players that are just like you. I don't train major league guys. I train a lot of players that are just like you. JV players, high school players, small college players, Division I players that are just like you. They're not freaks. So they're freaks as people see major league players. You know, they're a freak. You know, they're not. They work really, really hard. They do things really, really well. And it's not an accident. They are where they are. Somebody had a question on Periscope, maybe? Son struggles with engaging lower half consistently. Any good drills you'd recommend? Again, how does he hinge? How does he coil? How does he load? There's several. How does he move? Does he hang? Does he hang on his backside? Does he move his center of mass? More than a drill, I just need to see a swing. Again, I answer all the swing videos, and if you send me a swing video, I answer. It's a free. I do it for free. Like, I don't charge for swing analysis. It's the thing that I don't charge for that. Just send me a video. I'll look at it. What weight do you recommend for a handle load? I usually hear 20% of total weight. Is that pretty accurate? So in the program that I use, or that I've developed over reading studies, reading other people's work, kind of molding it and testing it on my own stuff, we progress through we start at 10 and we progress to about 22.5%, which is a little over what the studies show. But there are studies that also show if you go really over. And we use those weights in real time, loading and hitting swings. We use really heavy weights doing constraint T drills, plus 16 ounce bats. We load the knob at +8. We load the barrel at +8, and they swing +16s, which is way over. But again, we're not loading into anything. We're not being real game swing specific when we're doing constraint T drills. We're just trying to develop intent to organize and sequence and hit the ball up. So if we're doing real hitting drills, we stay within 10 to 22.5% over 12 weeks. In an in load and a knob load and an underweight, we stay within those same parameters in the weighted bat program. Either underloaded 10%, overloaded 10% on the end on the knob. And then doing constraint drills with really, really heavy bats. What does a typical hitting day look like with the guys? They come in, what does a typical training day look like? Is better. We don't just hit. They come in, and so the high school guys, college guys come in, they do their dynamic warm-up. They do their mobility series. They do their stability series for that day. They then do their shoulder. They do their shoulder prehab. They do their weighted ball programs. We use the driveline weighted ball programs, and we kind of made some adjustments in the indoor throwing programs for position players. They do their indoor throwing program, and then they set their tees up and they do weighted back constraint drills, and then we do either, depending upon what day it is, we do either bat speed, we do either the in-load, knob-load training, bat speed flips, or we do vision BP with SnapTech strobes. They hit 50-mile-an-hour fastballs off the machine wearing the SnapTech glasses. I don't know if you've seen the SnapTech glasses. They're awesome. They just create visual adaptation. Then we play fastball quality hit games, which hitting fastballs is part of the process of developing as a hitter. You've got to get outside of your comfort zone. Then they lift. After they do their hitting, they lift. Then they do their recovery program, which is scap mobility. They do some shoulder recovery work. They do some active myofascial release, self-myofascial release, lacrosse ball foam roll work, and then they're done. It takes 2.5 hours generally. 2.5 hours. And if they want to stay, sometimes guys get into quality hit games and they want to stay and compete against each other, which I'm all in favor of. We've got a really good group of guys right now training, and it gets really, really competitive, and it's really, really cool. It's really, really fun. What age do you recommend starting a weighted ball program? So it's really what you're trying to do with the weighted ball program. We do the plyo care. I mean, I do plyo care drills with players down to about 9, but we don't throw weighted baseballs. We don't throw weighted baseballs until they're about in the 7th, 8th grade. We start to kind of throw the 6 and the 4 ounce a little bit, maybe once a week. We do but the plyo care drills are more than their uses are more than just the arm strength. What you get in the drive line plyo care drills is you get really refined motor pattern. It's the same concept as the weighted back training. It's really where the concept of the weighted back training came from. You get really refined motor pattern development that you don't have to internally cue. Your body self-organizes if you just understand the parameters of the drill and what you're trying to accomplish. The plyo care program all the way down to 9 years old is really, really good. Obviously, we don't do the same loads, so you have to be responsible in the loads you're giving those kids, but to do a slightly overloaded and underloaded plyo care ball within the plyo care drills, which we have some adaptations off of the drive line plyo care drills that just I like some, not better, but just I like in addition to, and we do them all the way down to 9 years old. I mean, but we don't throw weighted baseballs until. We don't do run and guns, and we don't do all the fancy, sexy arm grades that you see on YouTube and stuff. We don't do that stuff till way later. We just get them we try to refine their throwing patterns using the plyo care balls, which works tremendously. I would recommend it. What would you recommend hitting pitching coaches being certified in any sort of physical training? Yeah, maybe. If they're certified, great. If they're not certified, weightlifting programming is not that difficult. It's not that hard. Just you don't need to outthink the room in what you're trying to train. As far as weightlifting goes, bench, squat, deadlift, max, everything funnels into those numbers. We use a lift conversion chart in my programs that we get all the percentages of the exercises and reps we want to do off of that one chart. I don't know. If somebody's, it doesn't take much to teach a deadlift. It doesn't take much to refine a squat pattern. One of the things we do with young kids, we try to refine squat patterns, hinging patterns, skipping, just the basic athletic patterns. We try to do from a young age, so when they are at an age where they can lift weights, it's pretty easy transition. I got started weightlifting with just a guy, and it was fine. I just think you got to have a plan. Most people don't have a plan. I think if you've got a plan, if a guy's certified and has got a plan, great. There are most of the guys that are certified in weight training have a plan. What are your favorite training resources that you like to read or that you've taken ideas from? Is that weight training or Eric Cressy's really good. Mike Boyle is really good. Drivelines weight training programs are really good. You can't get them unless you buy their Hacking the Kinetic Chain stuff, which if you're serious about it, you should buy. You should buy the youth Hacking the Kinetic Chain and the advanced Hacking the Kinetic Chain. Great resources, great information, great research behind everything. Really, really good. I trained at Athletes Performance under Mark Verstegen, so I think it's Exos now. He's really good. Their ideas are really good. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Books that I've read, people that I've Tread Athletics on Twitter's really good. Ben, his name is escaping me right now. But I think that's yeah. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot. There's good information online. Just be smart about if you've got questions about people, send me messages. I'll be happy to research it. It helps me learn too. But yeah, there's a lot of information out there, and a lot of it's most. I don't run into a lot. I mean, for me, it's easy to discern between good information and bad information. I mean, if people are trying to promote things that aren't statistically proven, then that's just your opinion, and your opinion doesn't matter. Favorite hitting resources? Oh, so if you go to my Twitter account, this is what I would recommend. If you go to my Twitter, go to my Twitter and just see the guys, Ryan Parker, guys that I talk with a lot. Ryan Parker, and I've tweeted this today, if you don't read and study Jerry Brewer hitting stuff, then you are not taking your coaching or your playing seriously. Jerry Brewer, East Bay hitting he's one of the best in the business. Dustin Lind is really good. East Zona Baseball is really good. 108 Performance, Bleeker's really good. Casey Fisk, really good. Fisk PT on Twitter. Teacher Man's good. Read his website. You got to wade through so much stuff on his Twitter. Just go to his website. Jason Ochart at Driveline is fantastic. Just go to my Twitter and look at the guys that I talk with in a circle a lot. Great resources. Sometimes I'm overly sarcastic on Twitter, so you can ignore that. 2 years ago, I changed my whole philosophy on hitting, and it changed my whole career. Yeah, ground balls suck. Me too. Me too. It was probably about 3 years ago for me that I started really changing my ideas. I played professional baseball. Kind of my narrative is I played professional baseball. I did all the things that professional baseball organizations teach. Backspin the ball low off the cage, stay low, try to backspin it. I did that. It didn't work, and I thought it was me. I got released. I got out of professional baseball. Still curious about why I didn't make it. Kept digging for answers. But was at the same time training people the way that I was trained. And I was getting some results, but nothing. I mean, guys were good. They just weren't leaping off the page because the one thing that we lacked is the ability to elevate and drive the ball. Probably 3 years ago, the data, StatCast comes around, Sabermetrics is getting hot. You start to get some better answers, and you start digging a little more, and now all of a sudden the swing sensors come around, and you start fooling around with that, and you keep digging. I got hit tracks now. We track exit velocity, launch angle. We develop the training programs. The training programs in my trip to Myrtle Beach, there's going to be some cool stuff happening in Myrtle Beach. So if you're in the area, just follow along on my Twitter. There's going to be some cool stuff coming out of Myrtle Beach. The guys down there, we're working on some cool programs that there's going to be a facility down there that you're going to have excellent access to. That's JT. Hey, JT. How can I get where I can swing a -3? JT, how old are you now? Like 12, 13? JT's a kid that I trained when he was young. I haven't seen him in a while. Get foundationally stronger is if you're a young player and you're transitioning out of that -3, I would recommend for a period of time you swing a -5 and then you transition into the -3. I know in the state of Tennessee where JT is from, in middle school baseball, you have to swing the -3. So you might want to this fall swing a -5 to kind of get you out of that -10, get you into a -5, and then, start trying to do things that are going to get you stronger. Simple things to get you stronger. I train 11, 12, 13-year-olds, and we do simple movement patterns. We don't handle a lot of load, a lot of weight, but we do a lot of TRXs. We do a lot of med ball squat jumps. We do a lot of simple movement pattern work, and we try to and we try to develop bat speed from that. But I would say in a game, swing a -5 this fall, and then in the spring you're going to have to swing a -3. So you might as well start transitioning out of that rocket launcher -10 you've got now, if that's what you've got. But swing a -5 first. That's what I would say. Are there any other questions? The questions are good. Keep the questions coming, and if you follow along in my narrative online, this is a good time for you to come on and ask questions. I mean, I just don't want to be the guy behind the Twitter account. Are there any other questions? Periscope, Instagram Live. I didn't do Facebook Live this week. Again, I got out of the car. I'm tired. I drove all day, and didn't really I had very little plan for this. But how do you feel about the backspin tee? I like the backspin tee. I kind of promote the backspin tee. I think the visual, the external focus on seeing the bottom half of the ball and getting your head behind it. I think the backspin tee is really, really good for that. The guys at the backspin tee are really, really good. They put out a lot of good information. They're trying to improve the community. So I like actually have a backspin tee. It's good. There's several things we do with the backspin tee. Other than we hit balls out of it, but there's other things we do with the backspin tee that it's good for. I like it. If you're on the fence about it, I would recommend it. It's good. Any other questions? All right. Well, if there's no other questions, 9:45. Check out my Twitter. This talk will be posted on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel link is just look me up on YouTube. You'll find me. Instagram, C Long Baseball, Twitter, follow along. And then on Tuesday, I'll post this talk will probably post on Wednesday. That's kind of been my rhythm. Maybe tomorrow, but I think today, and then Tuesday we do the 2-minute talk, and then Wednesday we will I'll post this Sunday Swings episode. So if you missed it, you want to go back and watch it, you can go back and watch the previous 4 talks on Sunday Swings on my YouTube channel. Go subscribe, please. Just grow the community. If you like my narrative, share it. If you don't like it, change the channel. There's a lot of people. If you don't like my stuff, there's a lot of people you should follow that I talked about today. And if you're not still on the fence about who to follow, send me a DM. If you hate me, I'll give you people who you might like. If you like ground balls, I will give you nobody that you like, because I don't follow anybody that actively promotes ground balls. Any other questions? Nope. Follow along. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to scope maybe